Alright, YouTube. Um, so I'm still under the truck, at the tail end of it. I just showed you how to take the wiring off of the bed for the tail lights and everything. Just kind of stuff the wiring up here so it's out of my way. But I disconnected all that. I kind of showed you how to do that. Sorry about the camera moving so much. And we're going to take off the bolts for the bed. What I have is a really long extension on a 3/8 drive with a, you might not be able to see it, but it's a 15mm socket. This isn't deep, it doesn't have to be. On the passenger side, I've already removed the bolts. They look like this. This one's kind of rusty, but all of them have this blue Loctite on them, so they're kind of hard to get off. So, because of the blue Loctite and the rust, I've got a piece of pipe that I hook to the handle of my ratchet so that I can break it free. And it's not too bad. The ones on my black truck were way easier than the ones on this truck. And that's just because they were not rusty and a lot cleaner. It's a little dirty under here and they were really rusty. So laying underneath the bed, literally the tailgate is right here. And on the passenger side, I already took the bolts off. There's one there and there's one there. And the way you get to them is you put your socket up through these holes that's in the frame, and it just goes right up to where the bolt is. And then you take it apart. On all the bolts, they have that. So you have two on the passenger side, one there and one there. And on the driver's side, at the very rear, you have one here and one there. And just like on the passenger side, you have a hole in the frame that you can stick your socket through, and you go up to the bolt and you hook on and you take it off just like that. Like I said, I don't have any awesome heavy-duty power tools, so I gotta use a pipe to get this apart. So I'm going to take off these two bolts, and then I'll show you where the bolts are in the front closest to the cab. Okay, so I got the bolts off of the back side closest to the tailgate off. There was 4 of them back there. And then up here close to the cab, you can see that there's obviously you can tell this is the cab and this is the bed. There are only 2 bolts up here close to the cab, and they're on these like perches that are welded to the frame, and it's the same size, a 15mm, and there's one here, and directly on the other side there's another one exactly the same. So this is the driver's side, and the other side will be the passenger side. After I take this bolt off and the one on the passenger side, then we'll take off the fill tube for the gas, and then the bed is ready to come out. That's how simple these beds are. You take the fill tube off, you take off the 6 mounting bolts, and you take off the wiring for the tail lights, and this thing literally just lifts right off. That's it. It's super simple to take these things off. So I'll get these last 2 bolts off, and then I'll show you how to take the fuel fill tube off and go from there. One more thing about the bed. So this is the passenger side, and I forgot to mention. So this is where the bolt is. This is the last bolt I took off, number 6, passenger side. But there's this strap, and it's a grounding strap. It's not for like safety or anything. It's just to ground the whole truck together. So it's really important to have that on so that when you do get everything back together, your lights work and other components, because obviously electrical ground, especially 12-volt system in any car, it's very important to have ground. Good, clean, solid ground. I've had lots of issues in the past with multiple cars, basically where something didn't work just because the ground was bad. And that takes a 10 millimeter. Both of the bolts, there's one there and there's one there. This is on the cab and that's on the bed, and 10 millimeter comes right out. Alright, last but not least, to get the bed off, open up the gas door, and there's a gas cap. You take it off. I don't know if you can see in there, but you've got 4 Phillips screws. They come out pretty easy and you just take them apart. There's 4 of them. Once you got all 4 bolts or all 4 screws loose, you can just pull them out. They're not hard. Obviously, you want to make sure you don't drop any of these down this hole. To prevent that, you could always shove like a paper towel inside the hole or something like that. That way these don't fall in there. And if they do fall in there, my suggestion would be don't just go grab it, because that little flap opens, that little piece of metal opens, and if you go to grab it, it'll just fall down and then it'll be in your gas tank. So if you drop one of these inside there, use a magnet or some kind of like a grabber claw thing. If you use a magnet, it's way quicker. You just put it down inside there and magnet grabs it, and then it doesn't even go down the door or nothing, so you're good. That's just a suggestion. Alright, so you got all those off. After those are loose, then you basically can just push that down. It's completely loose. So at this point, you could literally just lift the bed off. I can kind of show you that it's loose by, I don't know if I can move it where you can see it because the camera's so close or not. So if you look here, okay, then I'm going to move it and show you that it's moving. It's heavy, but it moves. And I got some crap in the back I gotta move, but that's how you take off the bed. Like I said, that's how you remove the bed on basically a 94 to 2001 second gen Dodge. And it doesn't matter if it's gas or diesel, the beds are exactly the same. This is the short bed model. The white truck and the black truck are both short beds. So they both come off the exact same way, and that's just how I showed you. So once all that is loose, you can just lift it up and it's off. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos on my build. Thanks.